Second referendum. Could we really have it? Would you support it if we did?
No, I wouldn't. When we had in one way, we've had the second referendum. The first one was in 1975 when we decided to stay in. The second one was in 2016. But David Cameron, when he was Prime Minister, spent millions of pounds on a leaflet which went out to every household in the United Kingdom. And on the back of it, it said, we will deliver what the British people have decided. And 17.4 million people, about 1.5 million more than the other side, decided they wanted to leave the European Union. One of the signs held by one of the demonstrators says, is Brexit worth it? It's almost like saying, is democracy worth it? Of course it is. And when you have a referendum, you really must keep faith with the electorate.
It was a very tight vote, though, we know that, and there is still plenty of protests going on around the breakfast table, let alone in the cabinet, let alone in the government. But talk to us, Nigel, about the deal that has been agreed on Friday that now has seen Boris Johnson and indeed David Davis and another minister walk away because of it. Do you support the deal? Is it delivering on Brexit?
Right. Was I screaming with joy as a Brexiteer with that deal? The answer is no. But do I think that it is a pragmatic step forward, which now is going to be offered to Michel Barnier in Brussels, whereby proper detailed discussion can take place? The answer is yes. So I'm content that we now have a united cabinet, and that's one of the reasons why these ministers walked, is because collective responsibility has now been reinforced by the Prime Minister. That means that when the cabinet come to a decision, all members of the cabinet have to support that policy or they walk. And two members of the cabinet walked. They've been replaced, and the one that has replaced David Davis, which is the Brexit minister, is a man called Dominic Raab, who was on the Brexit side, campaigned vigorously, and I've got every confidence that he will deliver the best deal for Brexit for the United Kingdom.
What about Theresa May's position herself now? Boris Johnson, many abroad and locally know that he has always had his eye on the top position, as many MPs have their eye on becoming Prime Minister one day as well. But not you. But Nigel, do you think that Theresa May's position is safe as Prime Minister?
Yes, I do. She spoke to the backbench Conservative MPs last night at, we call it the 1922 committee, and I'm secretary to it. And she came in and she got a very warm response. At the end of it, she got thundering response. She stood up for over an hour, and that was after 2 hours she spent in the chamber as well answering questions. And she, I think, allayed a lot of fears as to what sort of approach she is taking to try and get some sort of consensus and to give a realistic offer to Michel Barnier in the European Union so that we can start proper negotiations. But at the end of the day, you know, if the European Union doesn't accept what we've offered, she has already announced that she's upping the planning for no deal at all. And what is clearly going to happen is we're going to leave the European Union on the 29th of March next year. We're not paying billions. This is what she said to us yesterday. We're not paying billions to stay in a single market because we're not in the single market. We're not in the customs union. We're not going to be justiciable by the courts, and we are going to sort out our own immigration policy across the road in the British Parliament. So there'll be no freedom of movement. That's one of the strong pillars of the European Union. So they know that we're not going to be in some form of cobbled or fudged European Union. We're actually leaving the European Union.
But if there was no deal, or indeed if there's difficulty passing this Brexit agreement with the EU, that's yet more uncertainty for business. We're surrounded by protesters shouting at the moment, and business is shouting that they need clarity. Are you worried that business will... Well, we're already hearing from Airbus, BMW, the names keep coming out of concern about what this means for the UK. Yeah,
I know, and fortunately our democracy isn't decided by people shouting in the street or waving European Union flags. Our democracy is decided, and this is one of the reasons why businesses like to set up in the United Kingdom. We've got rule of law, and we've got a good democracy. We've got a stable government, and therefore I think that's one of the reasons why all these firms that you've just mentioned, I've got BAE Systems in my own constituency, thousands of jobs dependent on trade between the European Union and the United Kingdom. But at the end of the day, if we can't come to a proper customs arrangement with the European Union, we have decided we're leaving the European Union. They can't have a handcuff on us, and we will leave. And if we have to work on WTO rules, then that's exactly what we will do. And we had Rocco Forte write in the Daily Mail, a great hotelier, hotels all over the world, saying, what are you afraid of? We've had Woody Johnson, the American ambassador, saying to British people, come on, have more faith in yourselves. We've had James Dyson of Dyson fame saying, come on, Britain, have faith. Tim Weatherspoons of Weatherspoons fame, got pubs all over the United Kingdom. One of the big brewers saying, come on, Britain, let's just leave. So, yes, you hear it on behalf of some firms and you hear something else on behalf of others. But I think the reality is that we are going to be leaving the European Union. We'll still want to trade with them, of course. We're not moving geographically away from them. We buy 850,000 cars from Germany every year.
Yeah.
We drink more champagne than the French. We'll want to continue to do that post-Brexit.